So ladies and gentlemen, last night we got our first looks, the actual first set pictures, leaks if you will, of the DCU, and that is the Engineer, and we're going to get into that, but not right away, because while I was waiting to post this video, because if you're familiar with me, you're familiar with the channel, you know that there's a blessing and a curse. If I go to post a news video, usually more often than not, more news drops. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait until the next day to cover the Engineer set pictures, if you will. And lo and behold, I was right. We then got it somewhat, I don't know if I want to use the word confirmed, but The Hollywood Reporter is a major trade, and they have come out with a headline as follows: Teen Titans live action movie a go at DC Studios exclusive. So, oh my god, you guys know me. I love the Titans. I've been thinking about the Titans in the DCU for a long time, so I want to get into that first, and then we're going to get into, the Superman set photos and whatnot, and, what people are thinking. What does this mean for the Engineer with the way she's looking? Then we've got some Wonder Woman things to get into with Patty Jenkins and what she's had to say, and just talking about DC Wonder Woman in general. But the main bulk of this video will be taken up by the Teen Titans and Superman. And honestly, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time I upload this video, if there's some kind of news like adding on to this, then it's just how it goes on this channel, and I'll make a video about it when I can. So, Teen Titans live action movie a go at DC Studios, guys. I know I shouldn't jump the gun and get like too excited, but I think just the idea of it as a big DC fan, and if you've been tuning into the DCU discussion series on the channel for a very long time now, I've been adamant ever since we learned about, Batman the Brave and the Bold having, or should I say Batman in that movie. Obviously there's Damian Wayne, but he's going to have a Bat family built around him to some degree. Like, we've known that. And I've always said, obviously, you can bet your ass that Dick Grayson, if Damian Wayne's coming into the story, should more than likely be Nightwing at this point. So I've been like, okay, I'm expecting, and I don't often advise to expect things because it sets up for disappointment in most cases, but this is one of my few expectations that I had, and that is a Titans project. Now, this is Teen Titans. That is key to think about here, and we'll get into that. But the article says, and there's some interesting factors here, it's a go time for Teen Titans. I see what you did there. The DC heroes, which began as the teenage sidekicks of their more famous and iconic counterparts, are getting their own live action feature from the James Gunn and Peter Safran-led DC Studios. The comic book movie division of Warner Brothers Discovery has tapped Ana Nogueira to pen the screenplay for the project, and as you can see, they have a lot of faith in her. I mean, as they go to say, the playwright turned scribe into the DC family, as she's already writing Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow for the label. That's the thing, right? They must have been, I mean, we heard James Gunn sing Ana Nogueira's praises on his Instagram when he announced, I think, was it back in like November or October, September? I can't remember. Maybe I'm showing on screen that she had completed the screenplay for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and it's like the coolest thing ever. They're so over the moon about it. And now they're also using her to write the screenplay, according to the Hollywood Reporter here, for the Titans project. Now, some people are thinking, as a result of this, if she's writing Supergirl, could Supergirl be in the Teen Titans here? Now, I don't know about that. I don't think necessarily there is a link automatically there. I think the more interesting thing to think about here is all kinds of other things. Teen Titans. I think, because I've heard all kinds of theories out there, that this is going to be set in the modern day DCU. And I say that because some people are thinking, what if it's a prequel, like with a younger Dick Grayson? Obviously, as I just, went over a minute ago, Brave and the Bold, if Damian Wayne's coming in, if, as Peter Safran and James Gunn said, to an extent, there's a Bat family built around Batman. We don't know how big it is. Like, does it have Dick Grayson, Barbara being trained in those first 6 years? Jason Todd, is he dead, but has he come back as Red Hood? Or is he still dead and unknowingly, hasn't come back yet? Tim Drake. What's the situation? But either way, I am very confident Dick Grayson will be there. And the fact that Damian Wayne is coming in, that leads me to believe in a similar iteration of the Teen Titans with Damian Wayne in it. Surely the Teen Titans DCU project won't be a prequel because, and it is an assumption from me here with my speculation, that they're going to go off of the back of the Brave and the Bold movie. Because obviously you can't really do a Teen Titans prequel with Damian Wayne in it if he's only coming into the DCU with the Brave and the Bold movie that we're getting in the next few years. That's just one speculation. You could argue that it is a prequel, and I suppose that, because it's not like the first prequel in the DCU. We are getting Paradise Lost, which is, somewhat this Wonder Woman Historia has described this Game of Thrones-esque thing about Themyscira throughout, how it all began and everything like that. So you could argue there could be a Teen Titans prequel with Dick Grayson and everyone like that younger in his Robin days. But I don't know, guys. It just, if they're what I can assume to be casting a Nightwing, a Dick Grayson for Brave and the Bold, I don't think they're just going to get another Dick Grayson actor who's younger to play Dick Grayson Robin in a Teen Titans prequel in the DCU. So I think maybe if you're following me here, I think I would put my betting chip, if you will, on it being a modern day Teen Titans after Damian Wayne's calmed down a little bit after Brave and the Bold, because he's going to be a little ninja assassin son of a bitch, as James Gunn says. So after he comes down to earth a little bit, because you can't blame the guy. He's literally been raised to be a born killer in the League of Assassins. Coming off of that, it might be good for him, even though he might be a little bit of a brat, if you know what I mean, to join the Teen Titans. And maybe even Dick Grayson suggests that in The Brave and the Bold, or it's like a end credit thing. I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to kind of walk the path of what my brain thinks is most likely where things could go. And Damian Wayne, coming off of the Brave and the Bold movie for the umpteenth time here, seems like the most logical way to go. And maybe what I will admit here is maybe there has been a Teen Titans before, and that's why Dick Grayson recommends joining the new roster. Now, this is where things get all kinds of, speculation. I would like to think that Dick Grayson will still be a part of the Titans. This is something I'm trying to wrap my head around. So, for an example here, James Gunn might finally be the guy to do Robin as a kid, as in he might be doing the hit girl kick-ass thing with Damian Wayne. And I think that's what people want to see, and there's no better place to do it than, for example, a fantastical, comic-accurate DCU. It's not Matt Reeves' universe. You don't need to get a kid Robin in that. That might be a bit harder to ground and believe, that whole argument there. But for the DCU, yeah, kind of go all-out hit girl kick-ass. Bring in Damian Wayne, make him an actual teenager, and, let's get some comic book accuracy there, and I think that's what will happen. So as a result, going off of that, you could argue that when, as in the source material, Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing, around 18, 19, give or take? I guess it fluctuates a bit depending on the iteration, but I don't think he's going to be like HBO Max's or DC Universe's Titans, where Brenton Thwaites, who played Nightwing, and we covered Titans quite a lot here on the channel from its inception to its end. Say what you will about it, I think he looked like an amazing, quintessential look for the casting of Robin. But the thing is, he became Nightwing when he was in his 30s? When he was 30? I don't think that's going to be the case here. So maybe Nightwing in the DCU, when we see Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and we see Dick in that movie, I think if he's 18, 19, having left the Robin role, become Nightwing, you could argue that he might be the dad of the Teen Titans. And maybe, you could argue, as per what a lot of people like as well, Starfire is in a similar role, the mum and dad of the group, so to speak, the leaders. And you could have him mentor Damian Wayne. He brings him in. It's hey, meet some other sidekicks your age. Here's Wally West. I mean, that'd be freaking dope. Do you know what I mean? But I do also want to lay it on the ground as well that if you think about it this way, what if Robin is a little bit older? I guess you could argue if he's 21, 22, he could still be the leader of the Titans, or at least mentoring them, but then it's not exactly a teen Titan leader. This is the thing. I don't know how, it comes down to a bit of semantics there, or how is this really going to work? Because there is the last option in where you have a Teen Titans group, Dick Grayson in his past as Robin years ago, with other characters out there, was in a Teen Titans group like the one Damian's going to be in, but since then he's gone on to lead the adult Titans. But the reason why I'm kind of not going with that immediately, I think for me, is I can't fathom that they'll do a Teen Titans DCU live action movie without Dick Grayson being quite a big character in that roster. I mean, I would never say never. Maybe he could just be the mentor and he's running off with his own older Titans, and he still features, in educating the new Teen Titans with what they should do, because after all, he helped found the original Titans. But yeah, that's where you guys come in. Either way, I'm very, very, very excited. I would like to think it's going to have Dick Grayson up there as leader, with Starfire. I would love Donna Troy, obviously. A lot of people are wondering my lineup. Beast Boy. A lot of people want like, I would have all of them. Give me all of them if you could. Oh man, I'm actually so excited at the idea of this. Obviously, please don't misconstrue that as, do I think it's going to be good or bad? I don't bloody know. Like, it's not even been written yet. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, as quite an optimistic fan who's wanting to see a cinematic universe Teen Titans, hell yeah. Yeah. And I feel good about it as well because I've been going on about this in my discussion series and how I've low-key expected this. I'm not saying it's a unique expectation. I think a lot of people have. And I think as well, to be fair, you know, I've also speculated about how their antagonist could be Deathstroke. Now, I know that's not hard to think of as well, but we have had Gunn answer a long time ago, are you working on anything Deathstroke related, shortly after he came in as co-head of DC Studios? And he didn't have to reply at all. I've said this many times before, but he decided to. And he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something definitely along the lines of, I might be ... And ever since then, learning about Brave and the Bold, hearing about the Bat family, I've been thinking, okay, they've got to be doing some kind of Titans thing. I wonder if Deathstroke's going to be implemented into that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to necessarily go Trigon or anything like that right away. It could be Deathstroke. I don't know, though. And another thing is, since Brave and the Bold, as far as we're aware, as James Gunn says, it hasn't got a script yet. That doesn't mean that they haven't tapped a writer. It's just, you know, there's been rumors out there, but it hasn't definitively got an article like this. You know, Teen Titans live action movie a go, and, you know, Ana Nogueira's writing the screenplay. So some people are thinking, wait, could this be a prequel because, you know, Ana Nogueira is writing the screenplay for Teen Titans before we've even heard who's writing the screenplay officially for Batman, the Brave and the Bold? I wouldn't read too deep into that. Just because the Hollywood Reporter's got the scoop for this about Ana Nogueira writing it doesn't mean that it's coming before Brave and the Bold. If it did, then yeah, you could entertain prequel kind of things with that. But I just have to think, going back to my original point, this will be post-Brave and the Bold movie, the Batman DCU movie, quite simply because I'm very damn confident Damian Wayne's going to be in it, and you will see Damian Wayne first featured and introduced in Batman Brave and the Bold. One thing we can't forget about is Xolo Maridueña's Jaime Reyes, and people are thinking, could they put Blue Beetle into the Titans? Long story short, yes. I think what better way than to, hey, we've been wondering where is he going to appear? Is he going to be Booster Gold? Could he appear in Peacemaker? But wait, hey, Teen Titans seems like a pretty good fit. I mean, I feel like Xolo Maridueña's demeanor as that character would fit in greatly with the other DC heroes. But anyway, guys, just shoot me your thoughts down in that comment section. Okay, so moving on to Superman now, we have, as per the director, shout out to these guys for this article. I mean, the photos are freaking everywhere, but I'm just going to show it through this. First look at James Gunn's Superman movie villain revealed on set. Now, before we get onto it, I don't know if I agree with that title. As James Gunn said, and it's a bit of a clue if you ask me, to call the engineer a villain is a bit reductionist. Like, just to put her down to that would not be the true reflection of that character in this movie. And, you know, spoiler alert, she's not a villain. However, my theory for the longest time now has been, I wouldn't be surprised if she starts off on the wrong foot, brushes up the wrong way with a few characters like Superman, but by the end of the movie, she's obviously a member of the Authority. We're getting an Authority movie. She's not a villain. She's more anti-hero-esque, but heroic. So yeah, I think just some articles out there for simplicity's sake say, yeah, Superman movie villain, right? And for all intents and purposes, again, like initially she might exchange blows with Superman a couple of times. Now, as for spoilers here, as I roughly teased at the beginning, I don't think this is mega spoilery. This is where you can skip to the next chapter if you want to. But this character design, you will be seeing this, if not more, like with post-production added to it, when you see the character posters, the actual poster of the movie, let alone the trailer. So I honestly am sensitive about spoilers, but I wouldn't advise being freaked out about this. So if we scroll down the article here, they showcase these posts of Maria Gabriela de Frias, the engineer. Now, I don't want to start off negative, but what I'm seeing online a lot is obviously the typical kind of things when comic book costumes get out there. Now, it's not always received the same way, but I'm seeing all kinds of opinions, and I like to kind of gauge everything. Quite simply, if I scroll down, she doesn't look like this, does she? That is what the engineer looks like. If you didn't know already, she basically injected lots of liquid metallic nanites into her bloodstream, and she has the ability to coat herself in this metallic armor. Again, as I always use this example, think Terminator, right? The kind of liquid metal. Imagine coating yourself in that. And also, as a result of these liquid nanites in your bloodstream, you can conjure like a freaking pincer weapon to actual projectile weapons, and you're kind of cyborgy in a way. You can hack into things. You're just, if anything, she's a damn formidable character. She really is. Very, very powerful. And, obviously when you look at Maria Gabriela de Frias kind of get up there, she doesn't look like that. Now, lots of people are taking the piss saying, oh, it just looks like a CW suit. Not all the CW suits look bad, I will have you know. But at the same time, I don't think it looks bad. What I will say is I'm not like blown away. I'm not like, oh my God, look, there's the engineer. But I don't think it's terrible at the same time. I just think, okay, what my mind is thinking is, this isn't clearly how she's going to look in the movie in terms of definitively. I'm not saying that the suit you're looking at right now, just to stress to anyone who is looking at this quite negatively, and I kind of understand where you're coming from. Boba, what are you on about? The suit is the suit. I'm betting that is the suit we could see in the movie. I don't technically disagree. What I'm saying is, I've said this on my live stream last night. Shout out to all the people who joined my live stream. We had like over 500 people there. If she's putting her hands out like this, and there's no magical weaponry popping out of her hands, I'm sure she's just not going to go pew, pew, pew in the movie, is she? No, they're going to be doing some post-production where she's seemingly aiming here, as, like, for example, in this comic book panel. She's probably getting, like, again, cyborg-esque, sprouting two weapons, that kind of thing. So please can we just understand amongst each other that what you're seeing here, or while I'm not fully disagreeing with you, that there will be post-production to put guns onto her fricking, hands and fists there. And that could be, I just want to, speculate, I can't guarantee you this, you see that there's 6 little silver-esque dots on her torso there, and there's 2 on her elbow joints. Now, that could be a part of the costume, but it could also be to somewhat track this in post-production. Again, can't guarantee that, but I do want to insist that there will be CG on this suit. But yeah, the one thing that is somewhat perplexing to me when I look at this is, but the thing is, it's a black suit. Now, the details and the grooves, like, embedded in the suit are reminiscent of, for example, the look of the engineer. Sometimes she doesn't have all this detailing and some of the looks that you might be seeing on screen, but clearly with this one, for example, it's there. Now, one thing I figured, and this is just speculation, I did a poll last night on the live stream. Excuse me here, almost choking. And I asked how many of you think that they might do that technique, and please, if anybody's more lingo-y with the post-production process, please do correct me in the comment section. But sometimes what they can do in film, especially if they have like a reference to kind of like get the software to like track onto the individual's clothing, is that they could dress you in black here, for example, for you to actually on screen through the post-production process, maybe attached to those silver dots, turn it opposite and make it chrome looking in post-production. Now, again, you may call that reaching, fair enough. It's just a speculation here. And I'm just trying to think, okay, is there a way that they can make this look chrome? Maybe that's what they're trying to do. And an easy way to do that without actually literally painting her face or, actually trying to get this material that may not flatter what the engineer would look like. They can actually make a black version of it here, and actually in post-production with those tracking dots, apply this chrome effect to the suit. Again, I'm not a tech wizard or CG wizard or understanding truly how that would work, but I know that they can achieve things like that, so it just made me think. And I did a poll and over 600 of you voted, and you seem to think, this is just opinions, right? Do you think the suit will be turned chrome in post-production? Yes. So it's just something to consider. Maybe it will stay black. Maybe it will. Maybe. And if it does, that's certainly a choice. I guess my only theory there is that she has her powers clearly if she's, levitating here in that harness. Before anyone says that the whole thing's a harness, no, it's not. She's in a harness, but she's evidently in a suit. You can see the suit, how it collars around her neck. You can see it's got a sleeve like this. It's almost not baggy, but it's a suit. But my whole point is she's using her powers here. She's levitating. The engineer can do that. She's about to fire something. Maybe you could argue, I've seen some theories out there that Angela or Angie, the engineer here, isn't at her full engineer power. And by the time she gets to the Authority movie, maybe she looks a little bit more like this. But that doesn't mean that in post that they can't add this kind of liquid Terminator. I mean, as many people are pointing out, how many CGI movies have you seen where they literally do the liquid-esque metal thing and they can blob that over someone, over their skin, that kind of thing, or over their face as it's happening? I wish I could think of an example. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. But you get what I'm saying. And case in point with, she's clearly not going to go pew pew with nothing there. So I know I felt like I had to hammer that in because I do feel like some people are being a bit too harsh, but I understand the apprehension. And I phrase it like that ultimately because you don't know until you know. Now, some people are trying to say that you do because they use examples. Look at Ben Affleck's suit. Look the way it did in the Ben Affleck Batman vs. Superman movie. Or look at the Batman suit. It looked the same way it did in Matt Reeves' The Batman. Yeah, but like those two aren't CGI characters. Unless you include the absence of the cape that they might CGI on or something occasionally. That comparison isn't truly accurate to this image when we know they're a CGI character. So I get what you're trying to say there. You're trying to say that basically what you're seeing here is what you'll get. I just would say don't be concrete on that, just like I can't be. The black suit there may very well look black in the movie. Maybe they're just going to like embed it with like little streams of metal there, liquid metal looking things when her powers activate. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to do that in an attempt to simplify the engineer's design, because unless you're kind of going like X-Men blue paint style, like 24/7, maybe they wanted to kind of do a bit of meeting halfway, because the engineer can be in her metal-coated skin and not at the same time. Like, here's some comic panels showing that. But one thing I will kind of meet those who are skeptical halfway with is that she doesn't have exactly any tracking dots on her face. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like, that's one thing that I found interesting when trying to look at, okay, what if it does kind of maintain the same look? Because if they wanted to make her face look metal, surely they would have the dots around here to try and do that. And seemingly her fingernail polish there seems to kind of match her like darker eyeshadowy makeup, like it's kind of darker, kind of suiting also the suit, the black suit that she's wearing. Kind of, thus inferring to me that what if this is the design? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think my conclusion is, I think it looks fine. I think she looks great. By the way, like, what I'll say is Maria Gabriela de Fries, a fantastic visual casting. I don't know her acting ability for the engineer. I'm excited for her, and I hope she does amazing. But I don't know how this is going to ultimately turn up. But what I do know is that they will be inevitably applying CG. But the question is, will they be going full on out like this? And will we get moments like that? Or will they be just kind of, doing a hybrid? I think that will ultimately leave fans kind of, what happened to comic accuracy kind of thing. But I would like comic accuracy. Of course, I'll always choose that first. But if they're kind of trying to be innovative and also maybe find a way of doing this in a bit more of a practical way, and what I've always thought they would do with the engineer to some extent is costume plus prosthetics. Think what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy Nebula, for example, when she had, she punched into the ground on the High Evolutionary ship in the latest film with her hand. That whole thing, you see Karen Gillan wear a massive glove. It looks metallic, but do you know what I mean? It was just a glove, like a massive sleeve going up to her elbow and beyond. So I felt like they were going to do that. Maybe there's approaches like that of which they plan to do. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's about everything I can say. Other than, I guess, some other things before I forget. As when I'm making this, Gunn hasn't said anything. I decided to wait till today, knowing my luck, even though he might say something by the time I post this. I thought, what if he is worried about the Superman suit getting out there? Because what if this is, I don't know, the engineer facing off against Superman? If not Superman, could it be one of the other metahuman compatriots in the movie, like Isabella Merced's Hawkgirl or Eddie Gathegi's Mr. Terrific? I was just waiting for something else. But knowing my luck, I know I keep saying it, even though I've waited, something else is going to post. I don't know. But I'm kind of glad I did wait, because I got the Teen Titans info in this video as well. But that's everything I've got to say about the engineer. It's pretty cool. The first looks at the DCU leaks. If you guys want to see these images yourself, you can go to the Direct or just Jared. There's plenty of places you can see it. Now, lastly, guys, a little bit of a Wonder Woman update that I wanted to talk about. So Patty Jenkins says her Wonder Woman journey is over and adds DC Studios isn't interested in doing any Wonder Woman for the time being. So the actual quote on the podcast is, they aren't interested in doing any Wonder Woman for the time being. It's not an easy task with what's going on at DC. James Gunn and Peter Safran have to follow their own heart into their own plans. I don't know what they are planning on doing or why, so I have sympathy for what a big job it is, and they have to follow their heart and do what they've planned. So yeah, she says she's not doing Wonder Woman. Her journey is over for the time being, easily forever. Now, people are thinking, because of what Patty Jenkins is saying here and the knowledge she may have got from Gunn in her chats with him and Peter Safran, that, yeah, okay, so maybe she would know if they're doing Wonder Woman, and she's just said they're not. And then people naturally think, how could you not do Wonder Woman in the DCU? And to be fair, this has been a topic for quite a while now, because I think it's a relevant point. She's a big character. If you're doing a new Superman, you're doing a new DCU Batman movie, what's going on with Wonder Woman? And then, guys, you mix in, to be honest, it's interesting that Patty Jenkins says this, because Gunn has said things before, and I keep the receipts. I do find some things that Gunn says puzzling, but I also save my judgment, or I reserve it for, like, okay, we don't know the full context of the situation just yet. Or, for example, the Teen Titans thing got announced. Hey, maybe they're going to announce something with Wonder Woman. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, because there was that report in January 2023, January 4th, so before the Gods and Monsters announcement. Variety reports Wonder Woman will not appear in the first 3 years of the DCU at all. I repeat, Wonder Woman will not appear in the first 3 years of the DCU at all, according to Variety. This user says, please debunk this one. Gunn says, I hereby debunk it, only because it's not true. He's literally saying, as a result, Wonder Woman therefore will appear in the DCU in the first 3 years of Chapter 1. Okay. So that seems to contradict what Patty Jenkins is saying, unless you could argue, we're not doing Wonder Woman for the time being, could mean like the next year or two, but really Gunn does plan to fulfill having Wonder Woman in the DCU within 3 years. And there is some evidence of this, but it might not be, according to my speculation here, I don't know, a DCU canonical project. I don't know, because I've always wondered about this, because I think it would be a strange way of introducing your new Wonder Woman actor just through voice acting only. Now, what I mean by that is Gunn has spoken a few times about getting a Wonder Woman animated series off of the ground. This other user said, Diana is a character with such a rich cast with so much untapped potential and stories, it's beyond past time for it to be explored. And Gunn said, agreed, working on it. And obviously that's when that user speculated, I don't think they're doing something animated. But Gunn actually says, no, we're working on getting Wonder Woman into more animation. I agree that there hasn't been enough of her in that area, and, that was one of the first things I brought up to the animation folks. Yeah, Gunn has said a couple of times about he's been trying to get something Wonder Woman off the ground ever since getting in as co-head of DC Studios. Now, unless she will appear as a supporting role in one of these projects in DCU Chapter 1, which we don't know about yet. We know we're getting our own Superman project. We know we're getting our own DCU Batman project, granted with other characters like Damian Wayne, Bat Family. Maybe it's a similar thing for the live-action Wonder Woman, but we just don't know about it yet. And I think that's a fair assessment. I can't guarantee that, but after all, James Gunn said that the current 10 projects they announced in January 23, even though we've got 12, including Peacemaker Season 2 and the DCU Arkham series. Technically 13 now with the Teen Titans movie, which he hasn't acknowledged as of right now, but that was less than half of what is still yet to be announced for Chapter 1. So to be fair, maybe it could be argued that Wonder Woman will appear in the first 3 years, but you can only release so many projects that we've already got out there in the first 3 years. And we've already got 13 of them announced. So technically, Wonder Woman, by James Gunn's logic, should maybe appear of what I can assume to be in a supporting role in one of the projects that you're seeing on screen, if he debunked that she wouldn't be appearing in the first 3 years. Or he plans on getting Wonder Woman into animation somehow, and what, is he going to put her in Creature Commando somehow? Or I don't know. This is the somewhat confusing situation surrounding Wonder Woman in the DCU that seems to be persisting. And I guess, you know, why I wanted to bring it up is because Patty Jenkins kind of, you know, reignited the flame of speculation a bit, because she's saying, you know, as far as I know, they aren't interested in doing any Wonder Woman for the time being. I think both things can be true at the same time, if that makes sense. What Gunn said we don't know enough about. They're clearly working on something Wonder Woman related, and we don't have full clarity. But Patty Jenkins can, like, say, yeah, from what I've heard, they're not doing anything for the time being right away. So, like, you know, where are we going to see this character come in properly? I don't know. But I guess I would love to know your thoughts down in that comment section. And as with everything in this video, ladies and gentlemen, there's been quite a ramble, a very enjoyable ramble. But like this video, if you did enjoy it, I'd really, really appreciate that. It shows YouTube that, you know, hey, we might help this channel out a bit more in the algorithm, because clearly people are enjoying it. So let them know. Consider subscribing for more videos like this. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to love you and leave you now. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you people of the DCU in the next video. Goodbye.